We are here to announce that the conviction of Walter Ogrod in the killing of Barbara Jean, which occurred, I believe, 32 years ago, and resulted in 2 trials, the second of which resulted in his conviction, is now viewed in a different way by the courts. A judge of the Court of Common Pleas has lifted that conviction, temporarily ordered a new trial, has granted bail today to Walter Ogrod, and we fully expect that another judge with jurisdiction to dismiss the case will grant our request for dismissal in the next few weeks. I'm going to introduce a couple people who will speak. I'll just have a couple words after that and then turn it over to them. You'll be hearing today from Patricia Cummings, who is the chief of our Conviction Integrity Unit, and from Kerry Wood, who is in that unit and has been working very heavily on this case, as has Patricia Cummings. And you're also going to hear from Sharon Fahey, who is the mother of Barbara Jean and who has supported this effort by the District Attorney's Office to exonerate a person who is very likely innocent and hopefully allow for at least a second look, second effort so many years later at finding the actual killer of Barbara Jean. Justice deferred is a really bad thing. Justice denied, which is what we had before, is even worse. A little hard to celebrate these circumstances, but the obligation to do justice goes forward in time and it goes backward in time, and that is the oath that we as prosecutors took, and we believe it's a commitment that we are keeping today. I would like to introduce Patricia Cummings, then Kerry Wood, and then Sharon Fahey to say a few words.
It's remarkable that this occurred today during a time when our country is experiencing so much unrest and so many questions about our criminal justice system and whether or not it is so demonstrably broken that you can't get just results. What happened today tells me and tells my teammates and tells Barbara Jean's family that it's important to have hope. And that even though things go wrong, and sometimes it's unintentional, sometimes it's intentional, our system does have the ability to correct it. It's a correction in the sense that all of these decades later, we are now able to stand up in front of the world and say, we believe Walter Ogrod is innocent of the crime that he was convicted. It doesn't correct a lot of the other aspects of what went wrong, and that is the harm that was caused to Walter Ogrod's family, to Barbara Jean's family, and to the community. But if we have the hope and we take the steps to make corrections when we can, it gives me great confidence that moving forward, we may be less likely to commit the same mistakes over and over again.
This was a 2-year endeavor and thorough and lengthy investigation for me, but it is decades for both Mr. Ogrod and Barbara Jean Warren's family of trying to find the right answer, of trying to find justice. And it has been an unbelievable journey for myself, so I cannot even imagine what Mr. Ogrod and Ms. Fahey and her sisters and their families are going through today. As I said to the court, I think that, and my hope is that at minimum they can begin to heal, and this is what happened today was the first step in that process. And we as the DA's office can look at the things that went wrong in this case and make sure that they do not occur in the future, and make sure any past harms that have done to anyone else besides Mr. Ogrod and any other families and victims and their families can be corrected as well.
Good morning. I'm Sharon Fay, Barbara Jean's mother. And I would just like to say that I am happy that Walter Ogrod is going to be getting out of prison and starting his life. I believe firmly he was wrongly convicted with the evidence that I received from Patricia and Carrie, who helped me and my family understand everything that had happened. We had been lied to when this first happened, and we finally have the truth, which is hard, but that's all we wanted was the truth. And we hope that we will be able to get a person who took Barbara Jean away from us to pay for the crimes that he did, and hope that he has not hurt anyone else. The city needs to be made aware of the injustice that happens in cases sometimes, and open their eyes. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for anyone here?
Do you expect him to be released today then, Mr. Ogrod?
There's some technical aspects to it. Carrie, would you answer that for us, please?
I apologize, I didn't hear the
We
question.
expect him to be released.
Come forward so that we get on.
The judge said at the end of the hearing today that she was working with her clerk and the court staff to get the orders over to SCI Phoenix, and that they would have to then be processed through DOC legal counsel. But it is our hope that he will be released today.
Okay, and that's on bail. What's the bail amount?
It's a signature bond, over $50,000 a signature bond. So hopefully, once Mr. Ogrod is able to sign the signature bond, then he will be released today.
Mr. District Attorney, what comes next? I mean, there was obviously the detectives, the prosecutor in the case, coercion tactics and stuff. Can they be prosecuted, or what comes in terms of serving justice with those that were involved in that case?
I think it would be inappropriate for me to comment on that at this time. Let me just say, we take our obligation very seriously, and we look carefully at all options, both in terms of trying to see if we can be of assistance in identifying the actual perpetrator, but also in terms of some level of accountability for things that were done in the past by prosecutors or by law enforcement. Are there any other questions?
Is the case active then? Are you guys looking for a new suspect?
I would rather not comment on this at this time. Ongoing investigations in general, we try not to speak about.
But it is an ongoing investigation though?
Rather not comment at this time. I say that respectfully to you. Are there any other questions?
How does a case like this help the public's perception and understanding of the fight for what they feel is right, and what they feel is what everybody should be fighting for and everybody should be receiving?
So, one of the most serious problems that we have in criminal justice generally, both with prosecutors and with police, is that there's a lack of trust on the part of the community, that police are really trying to be fair, that prosecutors are really trying to be fair, and that has a lot of bad consequences. It makes the job of a police officer more dangerous. It makes the capacity for police and prosecutors to solve cases lower, because lack of trust means people don't participate in the system. They will not come forward as witnesses. They will not believe they're going to be protected. They don't want to identify themselves for fear that blame will shift to them when they've done nothing wrong. So these kinds of events in which the system corrects itself are absolutely essential to the restoration of trust between the community and the law enforcement who are supposed to serve them, and that means prosecutors, but it also means police. I think this is a very timely moment. It's coincidental, but this is a very timely moment for people to understand that this office, the DA's office, is trying to be fair, and that they should engage us, and they should engage in our efforts to be fair.
It is even possible to review, this many cases, and that people say maybe they were mistreated or
I'm gonna ask Patricia Cummings to answer that question. Patricia?
So as I heard it, your question is it possible to review all of the cases where people are saying that they were wrongfully convicted? And the short answer is yes. The question really then becomes is how long does it take to do that? And our unit is committed to looking at every submission that comes to us. And we have to go through a process of trying to figure out whether or not that submission and other information leads us to conclude that there may be something wrong with the conviction. It is laborious, but we are very grateful that the district attorney here in Philadelphia is committed to the truth. And when you're committed to the truth, you find resources necessary to do the work. Anything else? Yes. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.